Our role as a chamber is always to meet with them, educate them on the economic benefit of the state of Michigan. Bringing business to Michigan is always a win-win opportunity for all involved as we all become more prosperous. As an organization built on foundation of fostering relationships, eliminating barriers, and encouraging collaboration, we're optimistic of our regional efforts. Those of you who have supported the Arab American Chamber since its earliest days might remember times when our community had a sense of uncertainty about the future, when we wondered whether the risk we were taking in our businesses and otherwise would pay off in the long term. Well, I think we can now say that the investment we've made over the decades have eventually paid off. Today, compared to national averages, Arab Americans have significantly higher levels of education attainment. Arab Americans have significantly higher household income than national average. Arab Americans are now part of the flourishing, affluent community with a strong entrepreneurial spirit and vast purchasing power. The signs are clear that the generation to come will continue to take advantage of the opportunities they find in this great state of Michigan. And I feel very confident saying that with the support shown by those of you here tonight, that the American Arab will become even more stronger and more influential in the years to come. So we're grateful to all of your supporters. All of our supporters, of course, but especially grateful to those who have been with us since the beginning. You have stuck with us through all these challenges that have faced our community and our region for 3 decades now. Through economic upheavals, a rapidly changing business environment, difficulties large and small, not to mention the curse of the pandemic that disrupted our lives in the past so many years. I guess we're all resilient, aren't we? So, again, and thank you all for being with us to celebrate with us our 30 years of accomplishment with the Arab American Chamber of Commerce. So this is something, in spite of the pandemic, this brings me to my first awardee. But you guys have to listen because these awardees have been selected by the Chamber, are really our achievers. The role models in our society that we all have to be proud of. We look forward to, emulate them, your kids emulate them, and so we need to hear their story because, and a lot of these people invested decades of their time to be where they are. So today, I'm being given the honor to recognize a unique individual, Dr. Mahmoud Al-Hadidi. So, he's a board-certified physician in internal medicine, sleep medicine, pulmonary critical care. His passion for medicine began in childhood, inspired by his late father, Subhi Al-Hadidi. Dr. Hadidi has a great fulfillment of saving hundreds of lives throughout his career as a physician and teaching students and residents from Michigan State University as a clinical assistant professor. In 1995, Dr. Hadidi established Stockbridge Enterprises with investments in and out of state of Michigan with special interest in reviving distressed projects. and transforming them into profitable and sustainable enterprises through cost-effective management. He also established Stockbridge Foundation to fulfill his passion in community service and charity work, helping people in need around the world. Dr. Hariri joined the Michigan Muslim Community Council Board of Directors and was elected as a chairman in 2018, an organization seeking to improve human rights and relationship in Michigan and the United States. Dr. Hariri has dedicated the last few years during COVID pandemic to treat patients on the front lines and save lives, all along donating much needed personal protective equipment. He also collaborated with other organizations to deliver meals and deliver food supplies to the healthcare providers and police officers on the front lines and to those in need during the pandemic. But having known this man for years, it does not surprise me that his efforts did not just stop here. I'm sure his wife, Dr. Nada, would share my feelings on this, since I've known him for 35 years at least. So he doesn't stop here, and he informed us that he recently founded, just recently, a few weeks ago, a large organization he recently founded the World Peace Association, a nonprofit organization to expand much needed work in community service, bridge building, and promoting peace. So this is a huge accomplishment. And please, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to recognize Dr. Hariri's effort and award him with Bridge Builder of the Year.
Good evening, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. I'm very humbled and thankful for receiving this award. And actually, there are many people who are more deserving of this award, specifically all of you here tonight, and Mr. Shabani, Faye Beydoun, and the staff of the Arab American Chamber of Commerce, and the honorable board members who work tirelessly day and night to improve the progress and the prosperity of the community. In less than 3 minutes, I'm gonna give you my story and why other people are more deserving of this award. I was born as the 8th child in a family. I was the little baby. My late father died when I was 3 months old. And I was raised by my mother and my beautiful brothers and sisters sitting there. I was told growing up that your father wanted you to be a doctor. And actually, he used to tell my mom, this is my doctor. So imagine being 5 years old and people calling you doctor. So it was not a matter of if, it's a matter of when I will achieve that goal. Thankfully, having friends and community like this, I was supported by many, many people through my career. Jewish, Christian, Muslim, teachers, and Hindu, that really embraced me and inspired me to achieve where I am today. Along the line, I met the love of my life, Nada. She's my wife. Today actually is our 40th anniversary. So I'm sorry we gave away our age, but I'm honored to have my wife by my side for all those years. And we have 5 beautiful kids. In this community, there are so many friends and brothers and sisters that have embraced me through my life. whether through the Chamber or the Michigan Muslim Community Council, where during the pandemic we were able to put food on the table of hundreds of thousands of people in bad time and bad need. And I was able to grow Stockbridge Enterprises from a little game on the side as a doctor to an investment corporation in 5 states and 9 cities, thankful to the trust of my partners and investors in Stockbridge Enterprises. The key to success, I find, is that you have to share with others. You cannot live for yourself. We have to give, not only take. We have to have everybody as a friend, brother, and sisters. And having all of you here today as friends and brothers and sisters is what made me who I am today. I'm very humbled and thankful for your recognition and for this award. Thank you.
Thank you for your service, Dr. Hadidi. I'd next like to invite up to the stage Mayor of Dearborn Heights, the Right Honorable Bill Bazzi.
Good evening. Congratulations, Dr. Hadidi. I thought you got married when you were young, so happy 40th anniversary. He's busy getting an award. It's an honor here to introduce Mr. Isa, Wissam Isa. As the son of a Lebanese immigrant, Mr. Isa grew up wanting to make a difference in the lives of his family and the community. He learned at an early age that it takes risks to ensure financial future, and he was prepared to take on the obstacle. This is evident since he opened his first business, a cellular and pager company, in the heart of Dearborn while attending high school. Mr. Isa subsequently entered the car wash and oil business. Currently, Isa Brothers LLC portfolio consists of multiple Magic car washes, of Magic Touch oil changes, West Financial Group, automotive dealership in Dearborn Heights, and numerous commercial and residential real estate. However, Mr. Isa's biggest triumph came this year when the city of Dearborn Heights awarded the contract to operate the Warren Valley Golf Course to the Isa Brothers LLC. His plans include a golf shop, restaurant, a banquet hall. He will work tirelessly to help ensure the golf course is played and needed improvements are complete at the start of 2023 golf season. Mr. Isa believed in himself, set internal goals, chased his dreams, tackled the challenges that confronted him, and has never looked back. His entrepreneurship, coupled with his willingness to push himself to a new limit, and the driving force behind his success, he was accomplished. Mr. Isa is a firm believer in giving back to the community that raised him. He will be forever grateful to the Arab American community that has contributed to the success of Isa Brothers LLC. Mr. Isa grew up in the city of Dearborn, Michigan. He graduated from Fortson High School. He received a bachelor's in business administration and business administration and management from Wayne State University. One thing I'm going to share with you from my experience with Mr. Isa. I remember back in 2002, I was deployed overseas, and Mr. Isa, actually his brother, lived next door to me. So at that time, I'm sure most of you know, they used to send you a FedEx package when you get deployed. So I didn't realize that the FedEx package was actually in my side door. So one day I decided to go to the side door and I found a FedEx package, and I had 3 days to report to Virginia. So I was freaking out, and I remember Aisa's brother lived next door to me, so the two of them were standing outside, and I was like freaking out, you know, oh my God, I have 3 days and I gotta prepare for a year deployment overseas. And they both came to my assistant and to help. They actually said, don't worry about it, just go take care of yourself, we'll take care of your home. I left for about a year, and I tell you what, these guys, they never asked for anything, and when I came home, and my home was just immaculate, like, you know, like I never left. So one of the things, you know, people say, you know, he's a successful business, but I'll tell you one thing. Just recently, we lost a 12-year-old in a car accident in Dearborn Heights, and Mr. Isa actually heard the conversation I was having with several people. And right away, he's like, you know, can we do a fundraising for the family? The family was economically challenged, this 12-year-old boy. So he decided that, you know what, let's do a fundraiser at my banquet hall free of charge. He's going to host an event November 15th for the family that lost this 12-year-old boy. And he said, you know, I'll take care of everything. Don't worry about it. So Mr. Isa, thank you. Mr. Isa is not just a successful businessman, he's also rich in his spirit. He is always, and I've seen him since I've met him back in '98, you know, he's always willing to help the community. And he's been the same as he was when he was back in '98 when he started with his businesses. Mr. Isa's biggest accomplishments is marrying his high school sweetheart, and also he's a proud father of 4 amazing children. It is my honor to present Mr. Isa to the podium.
Hello. Excuse me. I've been yelling all day at the car wash, so kind of lost my voice. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Mayor Bill Bazzi, for these beautiful, thoughtful words. Thank you to the Arab American Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for the staff. Thank you for all the volunteers. I'm very humbled to be here tonight with you guys. Listen, I didn't write none of this down, so I'm speaking from my heart. I'm not really a public speaker, so what am I gonna say? Thank you, Faye. Thank you, Mr. Ahmed Shabani. I'm very humbled to receive this award from you guys today. I'm really lost. I'm lost for words, to be honest with you. Like I said, I want to thank everybody for coming. God bless you guys all. You know, if it wasn't for my wife, I won't be here today. She's been, you know, side to side with me from day one. She's been, you know, on me to retire and stop working, but I keep going, and I keep promising her one more year. But I think this is it. This is the final project, is the Warren Valley Golf Course, and I'm done working. 44 years old, 45, you know, in a year from now, and I think that's it. With God's willing and good health, I think I'm done. That's it. Let the kids take over the Isa Brothers investment properties and the car washes. And I thank you all for your support. God bless you all. Like I said, I'm more of a hands-on type of guy that goes to work and physically works. I don't usually, you know, stand up and speak in front of public speaking. Thank you, Mr. Judge Farhat. Again, thank you, Chief Hart from City of Dearborn Heights. Thank you, Mayor Hamoud. God bless our city and our community. God bless you guys all, and thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for all that you do. That must be one heck of a car wash that requires that kind of commitment where you will sacrifice your voice. It's my sincere honor to welcome our next speaker. Garland Gilchrist II is Michigan's 64th Lieutenant Governor, elected in 2018 and taking office on January the 1st of 2019. He's dedicated his career to solving problems. An engineer by training, he uses thoughtful innovation, progressive reform, and efficient modernization of policies and programs to make the work better for hardworking families. From spearheading campaigns for equality and justice, to harnessing technology to solve real problems, his focus has consistently remained on serving the public and getting things done. He brings a lifetime of experience to the task, receiving his first computer at age 5. Okay, I gotta ask, what computer was this? My first computer was a Commodore VIC-20, which had more memory or less memory than probably a photo that I have on my phone right now. But boy, was that a pivotal thing. Got his first computer at age 5, setting up a computer lab in a Detroit Community Rec Center, using computers that he built himself at the age of 16. Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist studied computer engineering and computer science at the University of Michigan. You can clap. Graduating with honors, and later had a successful career as a software engineer at Microsoft, helping to build SharePoint, that was you, into the fastest growing product in the company's history. Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist spent the next several years of his career as a social entrepreneur and community organizer who helped people in communities across the United States realize their full economic and political potential. Upon returning home to Detroit, Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist worked in local government to make sure to build systems that made the government more responsive, transparent, and accountable to city residents. This experience prepared him for a key priority: to bring Michigan's state government fully into the 21st century on every level. As part of the Whitmer administration, Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist has sought to address injustice and inequity across our state at every level. From co-chairing the Michigan Joint Task Force on Jail and Pretrial Incarceration, to helming the Coronavirus Task Force on Racial Disparities, these task forces have taken action that saved lives and protected our most vulnerable populations. Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist's approach to addressing these disparities is deeply rooted in fact-based practices, science, and connecting with individuals across Michigan. Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist and his wife Ellen reside in Detroit, where they are raising their twins, Emily and Garland III, and their daughter, Ruby. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Lieutenant Governor of the great state of Michigan, Garland Gilchrist II.
All right, how we doing? Hello, Arab American Chamber. I'm loud because I'm excited. This is a celebration of 30 years of excellence and leadership in the community. I'm so grateful to be here with you to celebrate innovation. And when I say innovation, what I mean is creating things that are new and different and better and more valuable to more people. You are innovators when you create enterprises that create opportunity in the community. And I sincerely want to thank you on behalf of my partner in public service, Gretchen Whitmer, and of the entire state of Michigan for the difference and innovation that all of you have brought to our state and to our nation. Thank you so much for being you. We're so proud, and all the public servants who are here, I think we can all agree that we're so proud to work alongside you to make sure that we're creating the conditions for everyone in the community to be successful, for everyone who has an idea to have that idea have a chance to thrive, to be planted in the fertile soil of the state of Michigan. And certainly Governor Whitmer and I have done our best to work with you. whether that means making sure that all of your team members and all of our families have access to the kind of childcare that unlocks the kind of productivity in our lives and in our workplaces by making record investments and expanding access to childcare and getting more childcare professionals into our industry. We also have invested more in public education than anyone ever has in the history of education in the state of Michigan, because we know that education lays the foundation for entrepreneurial opportunity and business success. We also have done work to make college more affordable. Just 2 weeks ago, signing college scholarships into law, 4-year scholarships for 4 out of 5 of every Michigan high school seniors to make college more affordable. We've made student loan debt relief available tax-free here in the state of Michigan, and we put 170,000 Michiganders on a tuition-free pathway to community college and skills training so you can have the workforce you need to succeed in whatever industry your business calls home. Now, we want to continue to build on this progress to make sure that for every entrepreneur in the room, that your next business is even more successful than your current business. Because as a 2-time recovering entrepreneur myself, I know that one thing we all have in common is an idea for another business, an idea for something else we want to start, something else we want to launch, something else we want to grow, more jobs we want to create, and more opportunity to open the door for. So we're hoping to build a Michigan alongside you with your ideas, with your energy, with your perspective, and with your tenacity to build a Michigan where not only you can be successful, but all of us can be successful. Because it is in the success and the growth of our communities that we are able to have more space for more people to see and be their best selves, to be a welcoming state and a welcoming community that sees the potential and possibility in the imagination of every person who calls Michigan home. And so I want to thank you for the role that you play in the community in leading and making sure that everyone recognizes their opportunity to not only play the biggest possible role in the economy, but play the biggest possible role in our civic engagement institutions as well. All of you are voters because you recognize that voting is a pathway to difference making in the community at the local, state, and federal level. And so I want to thank all of you for participating in the political process. And Governor Whitmer and I certainly thank you for the support that you've offered us over these years. And certainly we're trying to serve y'all for 4 more, because we have a lot more work to do, a lot more jobs to create, a lot more enterprises that can thrive, and a lot more in this community that we can see pulled forth. So thank you. God bless you. God keep you. And let's succeed and go into the future of Michigan prosperous together. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Makes me want to go out and vote again, but I won't. Just once. Just once. All right. With that, I'd like to invite back to the stage to introduce our next speaker, Ahmed Shabani.
How about the Lieutenant Governor? Give him a hand. Good job, man. Okay, I mean, he's tall, so gotta adjust things. Quiet in the room. So today, or now, actually, I'm honored to have with us as our keynote speaker for this special evening, Pete Buttigieg. Pete is a former 2-term mayor of South Bend, Indiana, a graduate of Harvard University, an Oxford Rhodes Scholar. Buttigieg is enlisted in the U.S. Navy Reserve and became a lieutenant when he was deployed to Afghanistan in 2014. In April 2019, he announced his candidacy in the 2020 U.S. presidential election, a bid that would have made him the youngest president in the U.S. history. Despite emerging as a top-tier Democratic candidate, Buttigieg suspended his campaign in early March 2020. The child of 2 college professors, Buttigieg excelled academically. He was his high school valedictorian and matriculated to Harvard University as a history and literature major. After graduating in 2004, he became a Rhodes Scholar at the University of Oxford, and graduated with a BA in philosophy, politics, and economics. On February 20, 2021, Buttigieg was confirmed as the President Biden's Secretary of Transportation. Besides his native, this is the impressive part actually for me, guys. Besides his native English language. Everybody's quiet, huh? He has fluency in 7 additional languages: Italian, Maltese, Spanish, Dori Persian or Dori Farsi, Arabic, French, and in his spare time he learned Norwegian. And be careful what you guys say, right? So please help me welcome to the stage Pete Buttigieg. So for me, I would say, ahlan wa sahlan, you're welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Ahmed Jamani, for the warm welcome. Thank you to the Chamber for welcoming me. Yeah, I'm good. And thank you to all of you for the warm welcome. If you don't hear me speaking much about my day job, that's because I'm here in a personal capacity. And I just want to mention that because it's important to me to speak to you about an election that's coming up very soon. But it's also important to me to speak to you to celebrate the contributions of this community to the region, to my newly adopted home state that I married into recently, and to the economy here. So I'm so pleased to be here. I want to thank Executive Director Faye Badoun. I want to thank the staff, the Board of Directors for having me. And of course, I'm honored to be with Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist. We've had a great day together, traveling to many places. I've been with Jocelyn Benson, Dana Nessel, your governor, Gretchen Whitmer, who I admire so much. I'll say more about that in a minute. I'm also a very, very big fan of your congressional delegation, including your phenomenal senators, Debbie Stabenow, who is here, and Gary Peters. I see at least one member of your House delegation here, my friend Debbie Dingell. I hope no one is in any doubt about the direct connection between their leadership and their votes and the extraordinary economic gains that are coming in things like the bipartisan infrastructure law that is benefiting every part of not just transportation, but water, internet, and so many things that the state of Michigan and the American people need. That didn't just happen. The last administration said they were going to do it. Lots of people had said they were going to do it. It's actually happened, thanks to these phenomenal leaders, and I'm proud to call them friends as well as colleagues. And I'm proud to belong to a state, Michigan, that prides itself in making space for everyone. No matter where you're from, how you worship, who you love. It reminds me of the spirit that dominated my military unit when I was deployed. When we went into a vehicle getting ready to go outside the wire, nobody ever said to me, I just need to know if you're when your father immigrated to this country, if he had his papers or not. Nobody ever said, I need to know if you're going home to a girlfriend or to a boyfriend. Nobody ever said, I need to know what party you belong to. We cared about whether we could trust each other with our lives. And I think that actually reflects where the entire American project is, and it is a spirit of inclusion and trust that I see and that I know has been celebrated by this organization since its founding and by this community in ways that we need to spread across this state and across our social and political culture. The Arab American community is such an important part of that. Michigan is home, as you well know, to the highest concentration of Arabs outside of the Middle East. A community that drives Michigan's economy with businesses, large and small, like those being honored today, each of them run with pride. So many of the members of this community serve in our armed forces, make sacrifices for this place that we love and call home. Our educators, doctors, public servants, faith leaders, and serving at such high levels. 99 of the governor's appointees are Arab American. And she appointed 7 Arab American judges in her first term. And I know that the entrepreneurship and the public spiritedness that is in this room reflects an appreciation of the importance of leadership. Now, Ahmed flattered me a little bit with using the word fluency, which is a very dangerous word to use for somebody who enjoys studying languages but is barely fluent in English some days, especially when the kids keep me up at 2 and 4 in the morning. But I do want to mention I have a little inscription on my desk in a piece of stone. I had it made up after a saying that I heard once in my travels, and it reads, "Ma kulli man yarkab ala al-khayl khayal." Which, if I can dare to try to translate that into American Midwestern English, means something like, just because you see somebody go by on a horse doesn't necessarily mean that you're looking at a knight. And I have it there to remind me that whatever title is bestowed on me doesn't necessarily mean automatically that I'm doing the job. I think it's important for us to keep ourselves humble that way, but also to make sure we keep our leaders accountable that way. Not every president presides, not every governor governs, not every leader leads. Not everyone on a horse is a knight. Which is why I wanted to make sure to be here today to share my admiration for Governor Whitmer. Somebody who has convened and governed, not just in the sense of telling people what to do, but in the sense of gathering people to do big and important things. And at a time when some scoff at the idea that anything could get done on a bipartisan basis, I deeply admire the fact that she has signed over 900 bipartisan bills, led the best economic recovery in Michigan history, cut taxes for small business owners, invested over $400 million in local businesses to support and retain jobs, increased tax flexibility, and ushered in the fastest small business growth rate in more than 2 decades. See, the low unemployment that we're experiencing right now didn't just happen, it took leadership. And confronting the inflation we're facing right now will not be something that happens on its own. It will require leadership. I cannot help but notice there are some people who are interested in addressing that problem, and others who are simply interested in mentioning that problem. So when you hear people talking about issues, be it inflation, immigration, safety, any of the challenges that we face, that we should face together, I hope that they will be pressed, especially by influential leaders like the people in this room, on whether they are simply mentioning a problem because they think it might benefit them politically, or whether they are coming to the table with an actual solution that's going to help. That, I think, is going to make all the difference. And that style of leadership is helping us get big things done. For example, we've had a problem with the availability of chips and with the need to bring more manufacturing back to the United States. And the governor, along with the senator and the congresswoman, have been key supporters of the CHIPS Act that is bringing down costs and already helping to create manufacturing jobs in the United States. Support for childcare that is going to be so important to our social and economic growth, including launching the Michigan Tri-Share Child Care Program, access to free preschool for more kids than ever before, and a $1.4 billion investment in child care to expand access, support businesses involved in this, and support professionals who are so needed. Whether we're talking about healthcare, whether we're talking about education, and yes, when it comes to education, what is most needed is not a fresh culture war over what books we are going to ban. It is real solutions like investment in K-12 education, which is exactly what the governor's administration has offered. Students aren't demanding more controversy, they're asking for more support. Teachers need funding, and they're getting it in this administration. Higher education, scholarships, some of the things Lieutenant Governor was discussing, equality, so many things that have the state moving in the right direction. So I couldn't miss the opportunity to share with you why I took a day away from the official duties that animate me so much and that I'm so proud of, and that I hope in another context, wearing a different hat, I will have a chance to speak with you about, to talk about what is at stake in the choice that Michigan will be making just a few days from now, on things that in my view shouldn't be partisan. Yes, I'm here telling you why I care about one of the leaders running in that election. But let's agree that certain things once were and should always be beyond partisan dispute. Like the idea that when you run in an election, you agree to abide by the outcome of that election, whether you win or whether you lose. Or indeed, the idea that when political violence rears its ugly head in the United States of America, the only appropriate response is an immediate, bipartisan, swift, and unambiguous condemnation. Nothing else is appropriate in the face of that kind of violence. I'm most excited about the future because Chasten and I are now raising our children here. Our family depends on the future of Michigan. And I think a lot about the kind of future that we're going to have when my children are old enough to ask what we were doing in these tender and decisive years, the early 2020s that are going to set the course for our history in so many ways. I want to make sure by the time they are old enough to ask what we did to make sure that the climate was safe and clean for them, that we say that we tackled that climate challenge in a way that created good-paying manufacturing jobs here in the United States of America. I want to be able to say that they enjoy more rights and freedoms than my generation, just as my generation has enjoyed more rights and freedoms than the generations before. And not that 2022 saw the high watermark of rights and freedoms in this country. I want to be able to say that to my children. And most of all, and this is the other reflection I wanted to leave with you as such influential leaders in this community, in this region, and in this state, is that I think what's at stake right now is nothing less than the next step in American democracy. It's one of the reasons I'm so proud of America and so concerned about America at the same time. The American project has always been about building an ever more representative democracy. And yet the world has never actually seen a large-scale, multi-ethnic, multi-racial, multi-religious, fully inclusive, fully democratic and representative republic. We've never actually seen that go all the way. Humanity hasn't seen it. I believe that it can only happen for humanity if it happens in the United States of America. And I believe that it will only happen for the United States of America if it happens in our time. I believe that is what is at stake in the choices that we are making right now in these early years of this decisive decade. And what I'm most excited about is that when we have that kind of democracy, which I believe will be achieved in our lifetimes and will be as big a contribution to the world as the Declaration of Independence itself, that it will also usher in a society with a greater sense of belonging. Belonging that is what animates the search and the story of everyone who immigrates to the United States, as my father did. Belonging that animates, I believe, the goals of every worker, every entrepreneur, every student. That sense that we can create a society where all of us belong. And I believe in the move toward greater and greater belonging because I've lived it. Even at my tender age, I've seen a lot of change. When I was young, growing up in Indiana, the idea that somebody like me could ever belong in my Midwestern hometown, first of all, because of my name, but to judge, which, by the way, for Arabic speakers, is probably a Mediterranean dialect version of Abi Dajjaj, Lord of the Chickens. So that's where I was starting out. Already felt a little odd growing up. And that was before I even figured out that I was gay. The idea that somebody like me could find belonging in a place like Indiana, when just 10 years ago, the idea that I could so much as keep my job in the military if people knew who I was forbidden by law. Just over 10 years ago, just about 10 years ago, the idea that I could even have a family and be married, let alone do so while serving in elected office in my Indiana hometown, was not just unavailable, it would have been considered preposterous. And yet here I am, choosing Michigan as the place where my spouse and I can raise our amazing son and daughter to live full lives in a society, a state, a community where I believe they will find belonging to. That's what we have a chance to build together. That's what all of this is part of. That is why leadership matters, and that is why I appreciate everything that you do to build belonging for all. So thank you for the chance to join you. Thank you for everything that you do for this community, and I very much hope, God willing, that we will meet again. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Buttigieg. There's something fitting about the Secretary of Transportation coming to Michigan, a state that has been at the vanguard of providing transportation for not only this country, but also this world. So thank you, and yes, you do belong here. And if I can offer some unsolicited advice about having to wake up at 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning because of the kids, Netflix always works to go ahead and provide you with that gap of your sleep being lost. With that, I'd like to welcome back to the stage, Faye Beydoun.
Well, good evening again. Love you all more. Thank you for, hi. There's one of my favorite judges. Whenever I call, she even answers if she's on the bench. You know, those are the judges that I like. Thank you so much for staying with us. We've got the best is yet to come, so please continue to stay with us. It is my utmost honor to introduce to you a warrior in her own right. Senator Debbie Stabenow is a strong supporter of the Arab American community. She is a powerful voice for unity and respect for all cultures and religions, and her actions reflect her fundamental belief in civil rights for every person. She has fought for equality and justice throughout her career and has advocated on behalf of numerous communities, co-sponsoring legislation against hate crimes, racial profiling, and the unconstitutional travel bans. Senator Stabenow has stood up for Michigan, small businesses, and all industries throughout her career. In addition to leading efforts to make sure every young person has the skills they need to get a good paying job, she is the champion for Michigan businesses of all sizes and is laser focused on creating jobs here in Michigan to improve the lives of Michigan residents. Please help me welcome to the stage Senator Debbie Stabenow.
Well, good evening. It's wonderful to be here with all of you, and I want to thank and congratulate my dear friend Faye Beydoun and Ahmed Tabani. Thank you as chairman of the board, and I remember being here the last time we were all in person. I can't believe that it was 3 years ago. I feel like under COVID, everything in my life is either pre-COVID or post-COVID. Do you get that feeling sometime about all of our time changes? But it's wonderful to have a chance to be back in person. And I have to say, when we're talking about the wonderful theme always of building bridges, I thought it was particularly fitting that we have the Secretary of Transportation here this evening as we are talking about building bridges. And once again, Secretary Buttigieg is terrific, don't you think? I'm very proud of him and his position. I also want to congratulate all of the awardees this evening. Wonderful to see Dr. Hadid, my dear friend, and to see everyone that is being honored this evening. So very, very deserving. And 30 years, 30 years. And congratulations again to the chamber. You know, the goal of the organization has been, and you have been able to do this over and over again, building economic bridges. And you've certainly done that during COVID, giving members tools they need to succeed, whether they're running a large business or just getting started in a business. I mean, being there over and over again is something to celebrate, certainly. You've helped connect Arab American businesses to the broader business community, and both have benefited. We all have benefited as a result of that. I also want to build for a moment on something Secretary Buttigieg said in terms of what is happening in Michigan, in our country, and the strengths that we have, because there are some exciting things happening for us in Michigan, and all of your leadership is very much needed for us to be successful. You know, we know there are supply chain breakdowns as a result of shutting down the economy, and we know the costs going higher because of this. And we're tackling those challenges. We're over and over again tackling all of these challenges and moving forward. But at the same time, we are creating incentives to bring manufacturing jobs home, not just chips, but other jobs as well. We have a renaissance in manufacturing going on right now in our country and in Michigan. We have 700,000 new manufacturing jobs that have been created in the last 2 years in this country. And we know that the incentives we're putting in place right now, tax incentives, other support, all the work that Secretary Buttigieg has done, the president, all of us together, the governor and the great team on infrastructure, large and small, broadly looking at infrastructure, is investing in our future so that we can own the technology of the future. And that is very exciting to me when I see what the opportunities are for us. You know, I've always said we make things and grow things in Michigan. That's what we do. We make things and grow things. And when we have an economic focus on making things and growing things in our country, like we do right now, we win. Michigan wins. We are the entrepreneurs. We are doing the excellent work like Lawrence Tech. We are doing the wonderful education efforts, the technology efforts that are going on, all of the research, the building, all of it. We do that in Michigan. And right now, I'm hearing the word manufacturing more nationally than I've ever heard it. I'm here in Michigan, hearing this with the governor and lieutenant governor and their team. So this is an exciting moment for us. And it's not just large businesses. We're talking about supply chains, service industries, all of us together. This is a real opportunity for us. Challenges, yes, no question about it, no question. But real opportunities for us. And this chamber is a very important part of making sure those opportunities are available for everyone. And when that happens, and when we have the diversity that we have in Michigan and the success from that diversity, we are stronger. And this chamber has been a leader in making sure your talents and strengths become Michigan's talents and strengths. And that's what's always excited me about working with all of you. Tonight we are celebrating your success, and I'm very proud to be your partner. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Stabenow, for your wonderful remarks, and best of luck in the U.S. Senate as we move forward past the midterm elections and into a new term starting next year. I'd now like to invite the Mayor of Dearborn, the Right Honorable Abdullah Hammoud, also rocking a bow tie.
When I read formal or black tie, I translate that as tuxedo and bow tie. So to all those who actually did this, thank you so much. It made me feel a little less out of place. Good evening. First and foremost, congratulations to 30 years to both the American Arab Chamber of Commerce, to Faye Beydoun, to Ahmed Shabbani. A round of applause, and to the whole team for putting on such a beautiful event. I have the utmost privilege and honor of introducing our next awardee. And, you know, they gave me a beautiful bio, and I can go through and read about all the amazing OSP subsidiaries that Dina Al-Ali went on to find, from OSP Marketing, Health, Sports and Entertainment, TV, the philanthropic arm of OSP Cares, about the fact that he operates in 25 states and 40 markets all across our nation. Or I can speak to that he had a difficult upbringing, losing his mother at a fairly young age, yet still finding the means of pushing forward and being able to celebrate that success. But what I'd rather do is really put aside the bio and talk about my interactions with Dean, whom I first met just a few years ago. And it's gonna sound like the most Dearborn story for those who are from Dearborn, but as we were working out at Hype Athletics, and I know Ali Said was here earlier, and every day is chest day, just in case you were wondering. Here he was picking up the dumbbells, giving us stock advice. And it doesn't get more Dearborn than that. You put on some weight, some mass, and somebody's telling you about what stock you should invest in. The only difference here was this individual actually knew what he was speaking to. And he was providing everything that he had learned and known in his time. He was extending his arms, bringing in the youth that were in that gym, pulling them in closer, not only as a means of providing exercise advice, but also life advice from someone who knows what it takes to have that grit and to build an empire. But more importantly than building an empire was what he did when he built that empire. He brought it back to the city that helped raise them. And I think that is the most meaningful part of what Dean has done. When he built the OSP empire, he recently moved that headquarters back to our downtown Michigan Avenue district. And that speaks volumes about the type of individual that he is. Someone who doesn't forget where he came from. Someone who built a home in the city, who's raising a beautiful family in the city, and whose far more intelligent and successful counterpart is here with us this evening as well. And I'm all the more thrilled. And so please help me in welcoming our Entrepreneur of the Year, Mr. Dean Al-Ali.
Good evening, everybody. In the name of God, the most gracious, most merciful, don't worry, Wissam. I had to do this a couple hours ago. During the election, Mayor Abdullah Hammoud courageously committed himself and his administration to several initiatives that would elevate this Dearborn community and raise over all standards of living. I'm honored to be announced by an individual that came into his role, hit the ground running, and going above and beyond for this community. Let's give it back to Abdullah Hammoud. I'm humbled and honored to accept this recognition award from the American Arab Chamber of Commerce. I'd be remiss if I didn't address and thank the thousands of individuals who work with OSP that entrusted me on this journey. They all couldn't be here tonight, with the exception of a few. I'm standing here because of your belief in our vision. OSP was founded on the principle of evolving the future of entrepreneurship and innovation. Our story started 12 years ago. 12 years ago, AT&T was looking for a non-traditional and innovative avenue of expanding and growing their market share. The OSP marketing model gave individuals, regardless of their background, regardless of their sex, regardless of their race, an opportunity through a management training program to be in business for themselves, but not by themselves. Today, we celebrate the humble success of our offices across the country and countless clients that we proudly represent under the OSP umbrella. But what I take most pride in were the challenges that we faced and overcame along the way. What the majority of people don't see were the struggles and the obstacles that come along with growing a business from the ground up. Success is never guaranteed, but if you give up along the way, failure absolutely is. Today, I humbly stand before you to reinstate the same vision I committed to and began 12 years ago, and share with you lessons I learned about sticking to a vision. being unapologetic about tenacity and showing the determination of life and death. There will always be doubters, naysayers, and even haters. But on the other side will always be us proving them wrong. In fact, a mentor once told me, be careful when you buy somebody's opinion. You automatically buy their lifestyle. Be careful who you take advice from. OSB is proud to celebrate developing hundreds of business owners around the nation that are a result of this opportunity we've created and a product of their commitment to their own individual goals and dreams. I'd like to thank the American Arab Chamber of Commerce for this recognition. I'd like to congratulate all of the awardees on their continued success and thank you all for sharing this special evening with us. And finally, I'd like to thank my family and my beautiful wife for being by me and during these rough waters along the way. In closing, I would humbly lend this piece of advice to anyone that is willing to take it. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, people who remind you of your vision and push you towards achieving your own greatness. In the end, it's not the destination that matters, it's the company you keep along that journey. God bless and thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Dean, for the words of wisdom. Thank you for your accomplishments, and congratulations. I'd now like to invite Chris Rizek. He's the founder, managing partner, and CEO of Renaissance Venture Capital Fund, a first-of-its-kind network fund funded by a consortium of Fortune 1000 and major private corporations. Chris Rizek.
Thank you. So I can't tell you how big of an honor it is for me tonight to introduce tonight's Lifetime Achievement Development Builder of the Year, Dave Meter. I've actually known Dave since I was 21, and I was a little newbie at Coopers and Lybrand starting there. I won't divulge the year we met, but let's just say you weren't holding galas yet. But we lost touch for several years, but then fate brought us together on the board of the Michigan Economic Development Corporation about a decade ago. And I was able to see him in action and see the kind of man he was. Just when you begin to think that nice guys don't finish first, you look at Dave's career, particularly at DTE, where he rose to vice chair by doing the right things and doing them well, caring about the bottom line, but not only about the bottom line. Few people have been focused on workforce development and helping create opportunities for the underserved in the community like Dave Meter. In some ways, we live in a world of 24/7 self-promotion, where people contort themselves in all kinds of ways to make the camera look at them. And I can't think of a person who's lived his life less like that than Dave Meter. In that respect, Dave personifies Detroit. He's had an incredible career that is even more notable because he's accomplished so much while never shining the light on himself. Dave often says that economic and workforce development is a team sport, and he's been the ultimate team player for Detroit and for Michigan. But even though he doesn't make things about himself, he's dogged in getting things done. I've seen times when things were booming around for most of us, and Dave was instead focused on how to help those who weren't feeling the boom, how to get them fully into the workforce and economy. And people of all political persuasions respect Dave because he believes in providing everyone with the opportunity to share in the American dream of hard work and personal enhancement. That desire to help raise all boats has a special resonance for those of us who are parents of children on the autism spectrum, as Colette and I are. A little more than a decade ago, Dave and Peggy, his wife of 43 years, along with Steve and Deborah D'Arcy and CEO extraordinaire Colleen Allen, formed the Autism Alliance of Michigan. In a short time, it's been a game changer for an often invisible portion of society, a group that experienced a lack of educational and employment opportunities. Imagine any group that claimed a 90% unemployment rate. That group faced those problems as well as day-to-day dangers in their interactions with others, including law enforcement and those in authority. Dave and Autism Alliance have already helped thousands, and now they're working on this moonshot of a job for every person on the spectrum who wants one. Part of Dave's effectiveness is his approach. Those who've been in meetings with Dave will testify this. He always asks the extra question, the one that gets to the heart of the problem. His moral compass is true, and he just gets things done. So I believe that the American Arab Chamber of Commerce has made an inspired choice of Dave Meter as the Lifetime Economic Development Builder of the Year. And I'm honored to be able to tell you some things about Dave that he certainly wouldn't tell you about himself. So ladies and gentlemen, Dave Meter.
Thanks, Chris, and good evening, everybody. I really appreciate the kind words. And we did meet a long time ago. It means that both of us are getting pretty old here. But I want to start by recognizing my wife, Peggy, who's at the table here. She has to hear me talk every day, something about workforce development or economic development. And she's becoming an expert in that just from hearing all the conversations. But we actually do have a more exciting life than just talking about economic development, and certainly enjoying our 5 grandkids right now. But I also want to thank and recognize this organization for this honor. It's been delivering services, as you know, for 30 years. And I was on the website and I saw the banner on the website that says, "We mean business." And I really love that. The support you provide in education, networking, referrals, and sponsorships is just invaluable. But I want to mention for a second that right now Michigan's at a crossroad, and actually many crossroads, especially with the election happening next week. But from an economic development standpoint, our macro situation is that our population's not growing. In the next 20 years, Texas and Florida each will add 10 million people to their state. And many other states, Georgia and that whole area, will add millions and millions to their population. And at the same time, Michigan's projected to stay over that period flat or even decline in its population. And at the same time, the population is aging, including people like me. MEDC predicted that we would run out of workers in the state by 2030. That prediction was several years ago. But the reality is happening right now as we speak. Oakland and Macomb County combined have 140,000 open jobs right now. City of Detroit, 10,000 open jobs right now. And at the same time, our K through 12 situation in the state ranks us in the bottom 3rd in the country. So this all, the population aging, not growing, what's happening with open jobs and people not in the workforce participation, and our K through 12 doesn't put us in a good situation for our children and our grandchildren. So we have to choose. Do we stand by and watch and let this deteriorate? Or on behalf of our kids and our grandkids, do we fight the fight? And it's going to be a fight to grow and diversify our economy, to grow and diversify our population, and to reform K through 12 education, including for special education, to be the best in the country. And I vote for all of the above, and I hope you join me in supporting all of that. I want to thank you again for the recognition. Chris is right. I always say in economic development, it's a team sport. It's all about relationships and collaboration, and this organization embodies that every day. And my last comment, since I have the mic, I want to remind everybody that we have transit proposals on the ballot for next week. Wayne County, Macomb County is a 5-year renewal. Oakland County is a 10-year, substantially different proposal that will eliminate the opt-out communities in Oakland County and provide us the basis for regional transit. And once we get that in place, then we can go to the Secretary and to the Senator and to Representative Dingell and ask for more support, more buses, especially electric buses for DT Energy, and really build out a robust regional transit system. Well, thank you, and I appreciate everyone for being here tonight.
Thank you, David. One more time, Fei Beidun.
It's not one more time, it's the last time. So are you guys ready for me? You stuck it to the end. I can't be up here by myself. Can I ask all tonight's awardees to please join me back up on the stage, including the people that introduced them? Because I know Mr. Chris Ryzik had received this award before in the past. I would also like, the past 2 years we've had COVID, so we were unable to really fully recognize our awardees like we have tonight. And some of them are here with us tonight. I'd like to ask Sharif Hussain to come up to the podium. Sharif is the Chief Executive Officer of LPK. He received the award in 2021. I'd like to ask Dr. Chad Audi, who's the President and CEO of Detroit Rescue Mission, who does work beyond belief to help people. I want to follow him to heaven or just hang on to his coattail to make sure I get there. In 2020, we also awarded Mr. Chris Ryzik. There he is. Mr. Ahmed Boomra, don't be shy, come on up. And Mr. George Sampson and Mike Beydoun, if you're still here. There we go, Mike. Yes, Mike is my cousin. All Beydouns are cousins. Except for Sam, he spells it B-A-Y. You know, I also see, I don't know if Eric Subry is still with us. You are a past awardee at this event. Please come and join us. By the time I get done, I'm going to have all of you up here. Can I ask the Board of Directors of the American Arab Chamber of Commerce to come up here and be recognized for all your hard work that you do for us? Come on up, Susan. Ali, Fuad, Jim. Sam, do you still have a gift for us, or? This is the first time I've seen Sam Beydoun shy away from the stage and not come and stand next to me my turn. Quick. Ahmed, where are you?
Where are you, Ahmed?
Yeah, please do. Move everything.
This is a resolution from the Wayne County Commission. Congratulations on 30 years of service. Thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you. Thank you. Joining us tonight. Those of you that would like to come up on the stage, please do. I'll leave the mic up here. But thank you for helping us celebrate 30 years. We look forward to seeing you again next year. Thank you.
del